Before propelling path-breaking companies like SpaceX and Tesla, South African-born Elon Musk moved to California in 1995 to attend Stanford University. Elon had spent the earlier part of that summer holding down a couple of internships. By day, he worked at Pinnacle Research Institute. In the evenings, Elon worked at Rocket Science Games, a startup that wanted to create the most advanced video games ever. Rocket Science gave Elon a flavor for what Silicon Valley had to offer, both from a talent and culture perspective. A self-taught programmer, Elon fancied himself quite good at coding and assigned himself to more ambitious jobs. Peter Barrett, the chief engineer, remembered, "We brought Elon in to write some very menial, low-level code, but he was completely unflappable. After a short while, I don't think anyone was giving him any direction, and he ended up making what he wanted to make." Bruce Leak, his lead engineer, had overseen the hiring of Elon and marveled at his ability to pull all-nighters. Bruce said, "Elon had boundless energy. Other kids those days had no idea about hardware or how stuff works, but Elon had a PC hacker background and was not afraid to just go figure things out." Elon found in Silicon Valley a wealth of the opportunity he'd been seeking and a place equal to his ambitions. Elon didn't know what kind of company he wanted to create. The first idea of a viable internet business had come to Elon during his internships. A salesperson from the Yellow Pages had come into one of the startup offices. He tried to sell the idea of an online listing to complement the regular listing in the big fat Yellow Pages printed book. The salesman struggled with his pitch and clearly had little grasp of what the internet actually was or how someone would find a business on internet. The salesman's flimsy pitch got Elon thinking the idea of helping businesses get online, and he reached out to his brother Kimball Musk. Elon talked Kimball into moving to Silicon Valley. Kimball remembered, "Elon told me, these guys don't know what they are talking about. Maybe this is something we can do." The Musk brothers have formed a startup, Global Link Information Network, that would eventually be renamed Zip2. The idea behind Zip2 was ingenious. Few small businesses in 1995 understood the importance of the internet. They had little idea how to get on internet and didn't really see the value in creating a website for their business, or even in having a Yellow Pages-like listing online. The Musk brothers hoped to convince restaurants, clothing shops, and hairdressers that the time had come for them to make their presence known to the internet surfing public. Zip2 would create a searchable directory of businesses and tie this into maps. Elon often explained the concept through pizza, saying that everyone deserved the right to know the location of their closest pizza parlor and the turn-by-turn directions to get there. This may seem obvious today with Google search and maps, but back then it was a revolutionary idea. The Musk brothers brought Zip2 to life by rented a studio apartment-sized office, 20 feet by 30 feet, and acquired some basic furniture. There were no elevators, and the toilets often backed up. An early employee remembered, "It was literally a shitty place to work." Elon did all of the original coding for Zip2, while the more amiable Kimball looked after the door-to-door sales operation. Elon purchased a local business directory for a few $100s. He then contacted Navtech, a company that could offer digital maps and directions. The Musk brothers struck a masterful bargain. Kimball said, "We called Navtech, and they gave us the technology for free." From there, Elon simply wrote the necessary code and put the two databases together. For the first 3 months of Zip2's life, Musk brothers lived at the office. They had a small closet where they kept their clothes and would shower at the YMCA. Kimball said, "Sometimes we ate 4 meals a day at Jack in the Box. It was open 24 hours, which suited our work schedule." Elon somehow managed to convince a young South Korean engineer to come work at Zip2 as an intern. Kimball said, "This poor kid thought he was coming over for a job at a big company. He ended up living with us and had no idea what he was getting into." They hired Jeff Heilman, a free-spirited 20-year-old for sales role. Jeff said, "Elon never seemed to leave the office. He slept on a beanbag next to his desk. Almost every day I'd come in at 7:30 a.m., and Elon would be asleep right there on that bag. Maybe he showered on the weekends. I don't know." Elon asked those first employees of Zip2 to give him a kick when they arrived, and he'd wake up and get back to work. While Elon did his possessed coder thing, Kimball became the sales leader. Jeff Heilman remembered, "Kimball was the eternal optimist, and he was very, very uplifting. I had never met anyone quite like him." Another early employee, Craig Moore, gave up his real estate sales job and joined Zip2. He decided to court auto dealerships because they usually spent lots of money on advertising. The service did not always work, or it would load very slowly when employees demonstrated it to potential customers. What kept the employees' spirits up were the continuous improvements Elon made with the Zip2 software. Moore said, One day I came back with about $900 in checks. I walked into the office and asked the guys what they wanted me to do with the money. Elon stopped pounding his keyboard, leaned out from behind his monitor and said, "No way, you've made that sale and got money." Slowly, sales started to trickle in. One of the benefits of keeping expenses so low is that even with a small amount of revenue, the Musk brothers were able to achieve positive cash flow early on, which looked good to investors. The brothers' hard work and early sales eventually earned some attention from the venture capital community in Silicon Valley. In early 1996, a local venture capital firm saw the potential of Zip2 as a company. After some raw, mediocre presentation by Elon, the venture capital firm was interested and agreed to fund them with a $3 million investment on the condition that Elon hand over most of his shares and cede operational control to a seasoned tech executive named Rich Sorkin. With all the new money, Zip2 was finally able to hire software engineers and even poach some of the best talent in the valley, and they moved out of their tiny office into something much nicer in Palo Alto. With the new strategy and team in place, Zip2 had astonishing success at acquiring newspapers for their software. In fact, they made over $50 million by getting some big-name people on board and helping them to finance their own growth even faster. The new programmers found that they needed to rewrite most of the software to make it more efficient. But Elon didn't always agree with the changes. Often, he would rewrite his programmers' code after they left work at the end of the day, without telling them of the changes. He was also prone to micromanaging and rudely criticizing his team. Needless to say, they found him difficult to work with. His lack of social delicacy impacted his working relationships at Zip2, mostly importantly with the new CEO Sorkin. But just before anything terrible could happen, in 1999, Compaq made an offer to purchase Zip2 for $300 million. Without hesitation, the board said yes, and the company sold. Elon received $22 million from the sale, while Kimball earned $15 million. It helped Elon to go on to bigger and better things like PayPal, SpaceX, and Tesla. I hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching.